Spring is here, it's March, and it's time for our third plot tour. Let's go. So it's been a month almost to the day since the last plot tour. Not an awful lot as showing, really. Not things have happened, but not an awful lot is showing outside. Because obviously it's still early in the season, and although it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful today. I'll give you a quick tour in here, then we'll go over to the greenhouse at home and we'll wrap things up from there. So let's crack on with the greenhouse here. So before we start looking at things in detail, let me give you a quick look of the greenhouse just now. So as you can see, there's loads of trays, loads of pots, and there's even some flowers in here as well. So this is another winter geranium, which is, well, obviously loving this kind of weather in here. The tulip, this one is actually already dying off. There's another one coming here. So a bit more in details, obviously we've got those 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, which were sown last month already. So this is the cottage garden mix, or mix of flowers, which will go into the water feature area, the wide flower area, I would say. Those are onions, the Spanish giant, or can't remember the exact name. See, no, sorry, my bad. That's the leeks. Those ones. That's the other one. So the leeks here, they're just showing up just now. The red cabbage are doing quite well as well. These are the Spanish onion, sweet Spanish. So those are really big onions. They're starting to show up as well. Fortunately, the onions turn on either too old seeds or whatever. They are not showing up at all. Those ones are loofah, orange rose. I'm not exactly sure what it is. It's Tony's been given those seeds, so just give them a shot. And we've got a whole tray of marigold in here, which have just been done yesterday, I believe. Up here, I hope you can see, because obviously the sun's coming in the way and it's higher than I can actually see for the screen. We've got the 2 gutter, which had been done a couple of weeks ago. I think you can see them, and the first peas are showing up now. They've really started yesterday, so it's definitely coming on nicely. Those 2 gutters have been cut to the exact size needed to go over there, right along there. So on one side, so each is like 1/2 of this frame, and once the first one is done, we'll put the other one on the other side. On this side, you will excuse me again, it's really difficult to see on the screen. I've got the sun in my back. So there's a tray of creeping thyme and a tray of lavender in here, which again have been done yesterday, so will take a while before they show up, but at least they're here. Hopefully they will do better. The Tony had done in January or February some creeping thyme, but they never actually done anything at all. But it was mostly down to the soil being poor quality soil, and they just burned the seeds. Out here, and you will see behind me, we've done a lot of clearing. It could be better, but this is things that we are keeping. And if you remember, the wheelbarrow was here filled up with bindweed, and there's loads of things that had to be done. We still need to look through that bucket here, or that tub here. The other 2 are not ours, just next door, but this one is, so we need to have a look in this and see if we can salvage this, maybe as a spare water container. But yeah, there's a few bits and pieces, mostly the edging, that are in here, but at least if it wasn't for the wheelbarrow that I've left in the way, we can actually access along that side. So we had 3 loads of really bad weather and strong wind, which have really damaged the greenhouse. I've talked about it in more details and showed you some footage in the weekly vlogs, so I'm not going to go over this too much today, but it's been sorted out. We've replaced the glass. There's still one here which broke. It was the last one that was cutting. and I had enough at that point, so I've messed up and it will be replaced at some point. And we've noticed when we were clearing around the greenhouse that there's one at the back that's also broken that will need our attention. But so far it's all good. Everything's been changed. It's all new glass, even the one that were already broken, such as this one, which had the corner broken off. It's been replaced, so we should be good to crack on the season properly, as long as the one at the back is probably the one that needs the most attention, because the glass is split right across horizontally, so the panel could potentially drop, which means that it's obviously wouldn't be fun if it wasn't the bottom one, which means that the two or three, one, two at the top could potentially drop as well, and we could not lose one, not have to replace one, I mean, but replace three. So we need to look into this. We also had some issues with the door. So the door, actually, the last storm that we've had, the door blew pretty much halfway through the plot, and it broke some of the wheels that hold it in place. So it's been replaced. It's still not great, but it's working a bit better. As long as you use two hands, it's working a lot better. And while I'm showing you around the greenhouse, so these are the peony which were under there, which have been pulled out of there. So they've been taken out now because they can survive at this point. They just need water. So rather than watering them inside of there, might as well let them get the water they need. Water butt is still full as can be. And this bit here is a lot clearer now. So all we have left is really that one and that metal pole, which we are keeping really because it holds the pipe in place, and then that bit of glass, which is a really good glass to make cold frame. So we're keeping this. I think we'll get rid of those two buckets there with concrete and those posts, but it's not been done yet, so they'll need to do this. And as I said, that blue bucket will also need to be looked through, or that blue tub will need to look through. We obviously still need to clear some of this, but it's at least it's accessible now. We can actually walk right round the greenhouse. So on this side, apart from obviously the spring bulbs which are popping along and a few plants that Tony has put in, there is not an awful lot of change. Keep in mind I'm keeping the camera down just now because there's someone working on the plot right across and I don't want to point the camera at them. But those ones still need filled, so they've been filled up a bit, but they still need more to get more soil. So this will be done over the coming weeks. It's not quite time for most of the sowing, so you can probably get a couple of them ready if he needs to, but just now it's not necessary. The small one there will be replaced as well. We've got a big one in the greenhouse, so it will be replaced, so they're all the same size. So over here, you might remember that from the bit there that we've worked on, then we've removed bags and bags, 20 in fact, bags of rubble. They were lined up in here ready to go. Unfortunately, since the storm hit and the broken glass all over the place, we are not allowed to bring vehicles in, so it took a bit longer than expected, but it's all been taken away. The last couple of bags have been taken away yesterday, so this is pretty much ready. Obviously this need we did, and this needs to be removed, but this is pretty much ready to go. And it takes us to that place which looks probably a bit odd if you've not been following the vlogs, so you'll find out a bit more next week in the weekly vlog, obviously, because it's happening this week. But basically, we've worked out the rough shape yesterday for the water feature and the edge of the fruit area. So what I've done today is dig up a bit more, so it's just like if it's raining, it's just not going to fill up and disappear completely. At least we've got a rough idea of what's where. So we just need to get that edging done in here, and then dig up all this in the next few days, weeks. The thing is, the water is still not turned back on, so I don't want to end up filling this one up with a watering can, understandably, I'm sure. So I think we'll wait the end of March or the April when the water comes back on to fill it up anyway. So we might start preparing, because sooner we can get the soil, the sooner Tony can fill up some of his beds. But it's not an absolute emergency at this point. I keep saying that it's the next job that we need to do, but realistically, when you look at it properly, it's not. Simple as that. It's not. So at least we've got a rough idea of the shape. So let me show you from another angle. So if I show you from here, you get a better view. So we're right at the edge next to the compost bin just now. So this space here is wide enough to have some stepping stones coming here, and we'll have some flowers around this side, and then across there there's enough space to put a bench, a couple of chairs, whatever we decide to put. And it's not huge, as I said. I keep saying a pond, but it's not really a pond. It's a small water feature, but it should be big enough to get a bit of wildlife in here. So we have planted 10 raspberry canes. So there's 5 on that side, 5 in here, and we've made a wee structure just to hold it in place. So these are straps across, and then they're attached. As you obviously, it's green on green, so it's not overly visible, but it's attached along there, so they should stay in place. And they are quite happy, grown quite nicely. So hopefully we will get some raspberries. Those are mid-season one, and we should get some raspberries this year. So the garlic is growing quite happily. It's had a good amount of frost, so yeah, it's quite happy here. Necks are growing quite nicely as well. So hopefully we should have a decent amount of good sized garlic at the end of the season. We've not had too much loss in here. Certainly had in the onions, especially on this area here. Towards the end it's absolutely fine, but here it's been, yeah, it's not the best. But we still have a lot of onions to go through, so plenty for this year. Today we've also done the first direct sowing, which is super exciting. So there is 2 rows here of spring onions, white Lisbon, and 2 rows here of spring onions, red, North Holland, blood red, something like that, right here. If you watch next week's vlog, you'll get the full name for them, but I'm pretty sure that's North Holland, blood red, red mate, something like that. Anyway, 4 rows of spring onions right here. So we've done a bit of tidying in here as well, right along the line here. We had purple sprouting broccoli, which gave nothing at all, so it's gone. And in its place, or in this area right along there, we have planted Jerusalem artichoke. So we've got a dozen Jerusalem artichoke that have been planted in here. Those were recommended, so if you remember, for celebrating the big milestone, I did ask, what do you think I should grow? And the winner was Jerusalem artichoke. So really exciting to see what they're going to look like, because I actually have been wanting to grow Jerusalem artichoke for quite a while, but I've never got my head round to it because it does take quite a lot of space, and in my own garden it's just not something I was prepared to try. But in here it actually fits quite nicely, because I will be able to use that not only as an extra flower. So just to remind you, we need 30% or a third, sorry, I don't know why I'm saying 30%, but a third of the plot needs to be flowers, although we've got plenty of flowers around here, but a bit more will not kill, and might as well have flowers that are useful, even better when they're edible. It's lovely. It's a really nice flower. The tubers themselves are really nice. It's a lovely crop for the hungry gap, so for next year. But also it will do a great windbreaker for the other crops that will be on this side of the plot. So that was just perfect. So let me take you over to the greenhouse and the garden, and I'll show you what's happening over there. Here in the greenhouse at home, that's really where you will see the most change. Nothing major. Don't expect full-size tomatoes growing in here yet. But there's been a lot that been sown in the past few weeks, which you probably have seen through the weekly vlog. Obviously, although I've been sowing quite a lot in here in the past 3 months now, just over 3 months in fact, things have been pretty slow. But in the past week, it's mental. Things have been shooting up. It's crazy, the difference in some of the crops. I'll show you just now, actually, one of the main one. This is the rocket. I mean, even a week and a bit ago, there was hardly anything other than the seedling leaves. Obviously, just as I was turning the camera, the lights came on, and unfortunately I cannot turn them off because it's gonna put the whole timer off completely. But just to give you a, so you can have a look. So these are popti. These were the first one that I've sown. No sign of the true leaves yet, but they're quite happily stay the way they are under their wee light, so that's absolutely fine for me. And here, I'll pull it right out so you can see properly. So those are the other sweet peppers. So we've got the 2 rows of Tangerine Dream and 2 rows of Red Cherry. It seemed to be that the middle 2, 4, 6, 8 here are struggling a bit. They dry out on the heat mat. They dry out a lot quicker. I didn't pick that up until a bit later, so it's coming back, but they have definitely suffered. Oh, there you go. This one's not going to come back. They have definitely suffered, but I'm fine with that because I really just want two or three maybe, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 in here, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth one coming in there. Those ones have not popped out yet, but I'm quite happy with that. I've got plenty of sweet pepper anyway in what I've got in here, so hopefully they will do okay. And in here is just the Raisintraub tomato, which are growing really well. They're actually getting a bit leggy, some of them, but the true leaves are definitely coming. So since we are still talking about tomatoes, might as well show you these ones. And again, the same thing. As you can see, the middle one, hold on, I'll just move it out. The middle 8 are struggling. In fact, those ones came and just died right off. They just dried out really, really quickly, which is very strange. My issue at this point is obviously, again, though this line here is, it's really difficult to show you, but this line in here is Raisintraub again, going quite nicely. First true leaves starting to develop, so everything goes well. Those on that side at the end are the pink bumblebee, which actually are the one that are the most advanced, was proper true leaves popping up, and every single one came through. The black moon, obviously, apart from this one that died off, and this one that seemed to be wanting to come through, which actually wasn't there before, so I don't know if it's coming through or if it died while coming. No germination here. Again, part of those 8 in the middle, but 1, 2, 3, perfect. I don't want any more. I genuinely just want 1, maybe 2, I will see, but I just want 1 really. My main issue is this one here. Nagina, I still don't know how to say this one, but this one is technically one of my main one for here, and this one is again same as that one there. It just all curled up, so I don't know if it's just popping out or if it just died while growing. Well, this one is very much done, same as this one, and those 2 didn't even germinate. In fact, see, sorry, this one germinated, but there's, well, nothing at all in this one and nothing at all in this one. So I don't have a single Nagina, so I will definitely do another sowing, and I think I need to double check, but I think I've got enough of those seeds, so I'm just gonna go overboard and probably do, if I can, a whole tray I'm very confused about this. I know the 8 in the middle is now going well, but those two not growing either. It's just weird when you think that the pink bumblebee, Eisentraub, and even Black Moon for that matter have done quite well. So just a few days ago, the marigold had been sown as well, which you probably have seen in the latest vlog. And I had to take them off the heat mat again for the same reason. The bit in the middle here, obviously this is just like some leftover soil that I had just dumped over the top. It's not, you know, it's meant to be vermiculite all over the place. But anyway, in here in the middle, it was really dry, and I thought rather than constantly having to water, I'll just take them off now that they've kick-started. They're down here, but they're not actually under the light. It's not meant to be under the light. It's just that was the space I had to put them somewhere, so that's the reason why. So if I take you up here, obviously nothing as yet for the melon. You've not even seen this yet. It's in next week's episode. I've been sowing some melon. The goji berry are very slow, but they are meant to be slow. The only one that I'm a bit surprised is this one that seemed to be, you know, I've got one that came a couple of days ago, but otherwise I only had two. When, you know, it seemed to be, I've turned them around because this one was at the front, so I've turned it towards the back thinking that this one and this one were at the back and doing really well, so I'm not exactly sure why, but it's absolutely fine. Anyway, I just want a few plants. It's goji berry that will be there for years and years, so I don't need that many anyway, so that's absolutely fine. And in here we've got the basil, which is coming on quite nicely as well. This is the first of many sowing of basil. I'm actually thinking that those ones will be staying in there. I won't even transplant them. I probably will just harvest them quite young, but I'll see. I'm not exactly sure. I might transplant them, or I don't know at this point, but I will definitely be doing another sowing in a couple of weeks also, so those ones could potentially be staying here. And in here I've got the sweet peas, which obviously the disaster was those sweet peas. Horizon had nothing at all growing. Old fashioned, I only had one then, and then another one that just came out, but very late, but nothing at all. So I had sown a whole lot of old fashioned on top of there. So I think I've added another 2 seeds in each, so there should be 3 seeds in each of those ones. There's one popping out just now, but that's the only one, but again, not unexpected. On the other side, although the germination rate is not amazing, there's 10 out of 24, the show bench are growing well. In fact, I've already pinched, so don't know if you can see this. I've pinched this one, I've pinched a couple of other ones as well, so obviously after the second set of leaves, pinch them and they will just push up a bit. Basically that's the idea. So those red onions, again, since, you know, some of them didn't germinate at all, but they are starting to develop more than just a twig, you know. They're starting to take shape. They are not showing roots yet, which is not unexpected. There you go. But they are growing quite nicely, so I'm happy with that. They start, as I said, start developing some leaves, so yeah. We'll see what they're like. Again, that's the first time I'm growing from seeds. I've never done it before. Maybe they're absolutely fine. Maybe they're super late and I'm not going to get anything. I don't know. That's the first try anyway, but I'll give them a shot. By the way, if you do know, let me know in the comment if you think that's obviously too late at this point to get something out of these or not, you know, so I'm not really wasting my time, but they don't take much space, so I'm absolutely fine to keep them. The leeks are doing quite well. They're actually doing more underneath than they do above. If you can see here, the root system is developing quite nicely. And here you will see this in next week's vlog. I have sown some sunflower giant for the allotment. These ones will be planted between the rows of sweet corn. I've recently found out that they're actually really good companion plants, so it's a bit of an experiment I'm doing this here. The sunflower are meant to help the pollination on the sweet corn, which obviously helps to make proper big corn. So I could be completely wrong, but they are meant to be good companions, so I'll give it a shot. I like sunflowers anyway, and I think they will look quite nice in that patch, especially since they'll be pretty much right next to the sunchoke as well, or the Jerusalem artichoke. So I think that'll be quite a nice yellow patch on that corner. The sugar snaps will be planted around the corner there. Later on, I still need to make the frame. I've not had a chance. They are growing quite nicely. They're about a week and a bit old, so you probably have seen that in the last vlog. But as you can see, the roots are showing up at the bottom. Again, first time for me using root trainers, but so far I'm pleasantly happy to see. It's a bit more difficult to see on this one, but there is roots showing up at the bottom as well. Even on some of them, like this one, for example, I'll show you again. See the root popping out, but there's nothing showing up at the top yet. So yeah, it's very interesting. It's an interesting way to grow as well. It does dry out quite quickly though, but they're in a tray where it's just holes all over the place as well, so it doesn't retain much water. But apart from that, I'm quite happy so far, so we'll see if it works. I'm sure it will work absolutely fine. But yeah, quite a lot of sugar snaps, so looking forward to those ones. And if you watched the vlog yesterday, you've probably seen the mistake I've made with the lettuce, which I was supposed to sow in either a tray like this or a smaller module tray, but I've just went autopilot, and I usually do a full tray like this and then just prick them out, and I've done the exact same. So I'm gonna end up with a lot more lettuce than I would like, but that's absolutely fine. So just as a reminder, I'm doing lettuce Valmain. That's the first time I'm doing those ones. And we'll finish this plot tour at the side of the greenhouse, right next to the purple sprouting broccoli, which I have started harvesting. They are absolutely gorgeous. They are really, really sweet. So you can see they've been chopped at the head. So the new florets are growing. So it will take a wee while now. They are not the biggest plant ever. I didn't do them properly, but I'm harvesting something, which is good. I'm not gonna complain about that. March is obviously a busy month. It's already been quite busy on the sowing, on the plot as well, trying to get things started or ready to start sowing, or some sowing as well. But there's plenty on the plate for this month. In fact, I'm actually already running out of space here in the greenhouse. So yeah, I'm just starting to freak out a bit about how many things I need to grow in here. This is a wrap for this month's plot tour. And comment, please let me know what kind of things you're sowing just now, how things are looking for you as well, how the weather is looking for you as well, because that's an important one at this time. I know that we're not all as lucky as we are just now in Scotland. It's about time. It's about time after the bad weather we've had. But yeah, I would love to know what you're growing just now. What's your plan for the next week or so? And in the meantime, folks, thank you very much for watching. Please leave a thumb up if you like that video. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not a subscriber yet, and tick that wee bell as well so you know when the next video is coming. Take care. Bye.